Help! Please, someone help me!
Vitals dropping. Get him loaded now.
Clear. Administering epi.
Door's secure. Step on it.
Listen closely. There was a man who had everything. And I mean everything. Chukwuemeka Okonkwo owned half of Lagos. Towers that kissed the clouds. Cars that cost more than houses. Friends who smiled with teeth white as paper, sharp as broken glass. But tonight, on the marble floor of his golden mansion, this man who owned the world was dying. And the only one who could save him. A small girl with dust still on her feet from the village market. How did we get here? Ah, my friends. Let me take you back. Chukwuemeka was not born rich. No, no. He clawed his way up from Abba, from a 2-room house where rain leaked through the roof like tears. He swore he would never be poor again, never bow to any man, never beg. And he kept that promise. By 40, he had built an empire. Oil, real estate, technology. His name opened doors from Victoria Island to New York. People called him king. They called him boss. They called him everything except what he truly was. Lonely. You see, when you climb so high, the air becomes thin. Friends become business. Love becomes transactional. Trust becomes dangerous. Chukwuemeka learned this the hard way. Picture this. Crystal chandeliers throwing light like scattered diamonds. Music pumping through speakers that cost more than a car. Beautiful people in clothes worth a year's salary. Laughing, drinking, dancing. Chukwuemeka's birthday party. 60 floors above Lagos, in his penthouse that overlooked the ocean. His closest friends were there. Tunde, who ran his security company. Adaola, who managed his investments. Ngozi, his business partner of 15 years. They clinked glasses. They hugged him. They whispered, "Too many more years, brother." But their eyes told a different story. Chukwuemeka didn't see it. How could he? He was busy being the king of his castle, the lion of his pride. He raised his glass. Imported champagne, gold flakes floating inside like tiny stars. And drank. That's when his life changed. The first sign was subtle, a tingling in his fingers. He shook his hand, thinking it was nothing. Then his vision blurred. The room tilted. Voices became distant like he was underwater. "Chukwu? Chukwu, are you okay?" He tried to speak, but his tongue was heavy as stone. His chest tightened. His heart was slowing down. Poison. Someone had poisoned him. As he collapsed, as the music stopped and screams filled the air, his eyes found them. Tunde, Adaola, Ngozi. Their faces showed shock, yes. But underneath, something else, something cold. The ambulance came. Doctors worked through the night. But the poison was rare, sophisticated. It was shutting down his organs one by one, slow and patient as a snake. The doctor said, "We don't know this poison. We need time. Time." The one thing Chukwuemeka didn't have. Now let me tell you about Adaeze. She was 7 years old, small for her age, skin dark as midnight, eyes that held the wisdom of old spirits. She came from Enugu, from a village where chickens woke you in the morning, and evening came with the smell of firewood and fresh okwa. Her parents died when she was 4, a car accident on the Enugu-Onitsha road. No aunties came forward, no uncles. In the village, they whispered she was cursed. "Bad luck follows that child," they said. So she ended up in an orphanage in Lagos. Small room, many children, not enough food. But Adayeze never complained. She helped the younger ones. She sang to them when they cried. She had this gift, you see. A gift for healing small hurts with her presence. Chukwuemeka met her by accident. 6 months before the poisoning, he visited the orphanage for a photo opportunity. His PR team said it would be good for his image. He didn't want to go. But business is business. He walked through, shaking hands, smiling for cameras. Then he saw her, this small girl sitting alone, reading a battered book about plants and herbs. While other children rushed to greet him, she stayed still, lost in her world. Something about that quietness touched him. "What are you reading?" he asked. She looked up. No fear, no excitement. Just peace. "About medicine," she said. "My grandmother used to make medicine from plants. Before she died, she taught me small things. I'm trying to remember." He don't know why, but he sat down beside her. For 10 minutes, this billionaire who never had time sat with the orphan girl and talked about herbs. When he left, he couldn't shake her from his mind. A week later, he came back. Then again. Then he did something he never planned. He adopted her. People talked. "Why that one? Why not a cute one? That man has gone mad." But Chukwuemeka didn't care. For the first time in years, he felt something real. Adayeze didn't want his money, didn't perform for him. She just she called him Papa. Simple like that. And something in his heart, something he thought was dead, woke up. Now we return to the marble floor. To the dying man. The doctors had moved Chukwuemeka to his home. There was nothing more the hospital could do. His organs were failing. Days, they said. Maybe hours. His so-called friends had disappeared. Funny how that happens, isn't it? When a man is dying, suddenly everyone is busy. Phone calls go unanswered. Meetings are postponed. But Adayeze stayed. This small girl sat by his bedside, watching her papa struggle to breathe. The doctors came and went. Nurses checked machines. But she never left. On the 3rd night, she noticed something. The smell. You see, her grandmother had taught her things before she died. Old knowledge. Village wisdom that doesn't appear in textbooks. She taught her that every poison has a signature. A smell, a color, a feeling. Adayeze leaned close to her papa's skin. Sniffed. Her eyes widened. "Ogwu Oju," she whispered. "Bad medicine." She recognized it from her grandmother's warnings. A poison made from a rare plant that grew only in certain forests. Used by people with dark intentions. Slow. Painful. Untraceable by modern doctors who looked only at machines and forgot the old ways. But her grandmother had also taught her the cure. Listen to what happened next. Adayeze ran to the head doctor, Dr. Olufemi. "I know the poison," she said, her small voice urgent. "I know how to cure it." Dr. Olufemi looked down at her with tired eyes. "Child, please. The adults are handling this." "But I know. My grandmother." "Your grandmother was a village woman. This is serious medicine. Go play. Have you ever been dismissed when you held the truth? When you knew you could help, but no one would listen, because you were too young, too small, too unimportant." That's where Adayeze stood. But she didn't give up. She snuck into the kitchen late that night. Remembered everything her grandmother taught her. She needed 3 things. The bark of an udala tree, leaves from a plant called enchanwu, and water blessed by morning prayers. The bark and leaves. She found them in her memory. 6 months ago, when Papa drove her around Lagos, she had seen these plants in a small garden in Yaba. She remembered everything, because that's what you do when knowledge is all you have. She slipped out of the mansion alone in Lagos at night. Dangerous? Yes. But love makes us brave in ways we cannot explain. She walked through dark streets, market women sweeping up, night guards eyeing her with suspicion. She found the garden, climbed the fence, her small size finally an advantage, and gathered what she needed. Then she did something her grandmother taught her. She prayed. Not the English prayers from church, the old prayers in Egbo, asking the spirits of healing to bless her hands. By dawn, she was back. She ground the bark and leaves in a mortar, the sound echoing through the quiet mansion like a heartbeat. Mixed it with water. The mixture turned deep green, almost black, with a smell sharp enough to clear the head. She brought it to her papa's room. The nurses tried to stop her. "What is that? You can't give him anything." But something in her eyes made them pause. Determination? Desperation? Love? She lifted the bowl to his lips. "Papa, drink. Please, trust me." Chukwuemeka's eyes were barely open, but he saw her. His daughter. This girl who asked nothing of him except to let her love him. With his last strength, he drank. Nothing happened at first. Minutes passed like hours. The nurses watched nervously. Dr. Olufemi arrived and nearly had a heart attack. "What did you give him?" Then Chukwuemeka coughed. Once, twice. His body shook, and he vomited. Dark, foul-smelling liquid that made everyone step back. The poison. Coming out. His breathing changed, deepened. Color returned to his face like sunrise creeping across a dark sky. By evening, he opened his eyes fully. "Ada?" He whispered. She grabbed his hand, tears streaming. "Yes, Papa. I'm here." "You saved me," he said, wonder in his voice. She smiled through her tears. "You saved me first. Remember?" Recovery took weeks. But as Chukwuemeka grew stronger, so did his questions. Who poisoned him? He hired investigators, real ones, not friends, not business partners. People who owed him nothing and feared no one. The truth came out slowly, like water from a stubborn tap. Tunde, Adaula, and Ngozi, his oldest friends. They had been stealing from him for years, moving money through fake companies. But Chukwuemeka was getting suspicious, asking questions, calling for audits. So they decided, remove him, take everything, blame it on natural causes. They almost succeeded. When Chukwuemeka heard the truth, he didn't rage. He didn't shout. He just sat quietly, staring at the reports. 15 years, he finally said. Ngozi and I built this empire together. 15 years of brotherhood. Adaize, sitting beside him, said something then. Something wise beyond her years. "Papa," my grandmother used to say, "not everyone who eats with you loves you. Some are just hungry." He looked at his daughter, this small girl who saved him with village knowledge and pure love, and laughed. A real laugh, the first in years. "Your grandmother was a wise woman." "Yes, Papa. And she taught me one more thing." "What's that?" "Real wealth is not in towers or cars. It's in people who stay when staying is hard." Chukwuemeka changed after that. He didn't become poor. No, the man still had money. But he became different. He moved from the penthouse. Too many ghosts. Too much marble and gold. He bought a house in Lekki. Smaller, warmer, with a garden where Adaize could grow her healing plants. He cut off fake friends. Donated money to orphanages. Not for photos, but quietly. Like rain that falls without announcement. He spent evenings teaching Adaize mathematics and English. She spent evenings teaching him about sherbs and old wisdom. They became each other's teacher, each other's student. People asked him, "Chukwuemeka, don't you miss the parties, the lifestyle?" He would smile and say, "I had everything and was dying. Now I have enough and I'm alive. Tell me, which is better?" The poison left his body, but it left him a gift too. Clarity. The ability to see what truly matters when everything else is stripped away. Years later, people still tell this story in Lagos. The billionaire who was saved by a village girl. The man who had everything but needed nothing, until he almost lost his life. Some say it's just a story. Others know better. Adaeze grew up to become a doctor, but not the kind who forgets where medicine comes from. She opened clinics where modern science met traditional healing, where expensive machines worked alongside ancient knowledge, where everyone was treated the same, whether they came in a Mercedes or on foot. And Chukwuemeka, he built businesses still, yes, but different ones. Companies that lifted others up. That didn't just make money, but made meaning. Every year on his birthday, the day he almost died, he and Adaeze would sit in their garden. They would thank the ancestors, thank the spirits of healing, thank the grandmother who taught a small girl how to save a big man, Papa. Adaeze asked one year, "Do you ever regret adopting me? A village girl with dust on her feet." Chukwuemeka looked at his daughter, the one who held his death in her hands and chose to give him life instead. "Regret?" He smiled. "My dear, you didn't just save my body. You saved my soul. I was rich but dead inside. You made me alive." He paused, then added, "Sometimes the smallest hands carry the biggest blessings. Sometimes the one we save ends up saving us. So I ask you now, my friends, what is true wealth? Is it in tall towers that scrape the sky, or in small hands that hold healing? Is it in friends who smile with sharp teeth, or in daughters who stay when staying is hard?" Chukwuemeka learned what many never do, that everything we build with our hands can crumble in a moment, but what we build with our hearts, with love, with humility, that lasts forever. The girl from nowhere became his everything. The man who had everything learned he had nothing, until he found something real. And you. What will you choose to build? Think about it. The story ends, but the questions remain.